Hello and welcome to this session, which is called Pricing Strategies for Startups. So this session is brought to you by Elevate Programme, which is a programme for businesses between 0 to 3 years old. It is supported by the London Borough of Waltham Forest Business Recovery and Growth Fund, and it's coordinated by Crate with Hustle and Heels as one of the delivery partners. And as I say, today's session is all about pricing strategies for startups. So giving you tips and things that you can do to decide how it is that you can price your products and your services. And so let me introduce myself to you. So my name is Lucille Roach. So I am the facilitator for this session on behalf of Hustle and Heels. And I'm a business startup coach, and I tend to work with female startups, and I help them to identify and attract the right clients for their business so that they can start to make money from the things that they are passionate about. I started my business in September 2018, and before starting my business, I had no experience as a business owner. My only experience, in fact, I had no experience at all. Before having my own business, I was a manager. And then before that, I was a lawyer. So nothing to do with sales, nothing to do with marketing, nothing to do with selling. So I really struggled when I started to be able to figure out how to, first of all, to position myself, how to be able to identify and attract the right clients, how to decide what to price my products or services at, because I'd never had to do that process before. And it took me a while until I kind of got everything figured out. I got what I call the foundation in place that helped me to be able to build my business and then start making money in my business. I also host a podcast, which is called the Female Startup Podcast, which is available on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere else that you get your podcasts. I am also a public speaker, so I speak at events, and I've written a book, which is called Discover 22 of the biggest mistakes most business owners make and learn what you can do to avoid them. And that book is available for you to buy on Amazon. And I also deliver training to startups as well in the UK. So that is a little bit about me and about what it is that I do. And knowing how to price your products and services is really, really important, because as a business, you obviously want to be able to make money in your business. And the way that you make money is by being able to give value to your customers, but your customers obviously want to make sure that they are getting value for their money as well. They want to get the outcome that you said that they were going to get, but they also want to pay a reasonable price for it as well. And so you have to be able to manage the expectations of your customers, of your ideal clients, and those expectations are going to be different depending on the type of business that you have and the type of service or product that you sell. And so once you know how to price your products or your services and position them to sell, it's going to increase your chances of being more successful in your business, because you will be able to start generating money on a consistent and regular basis. Okay. So what we're going to talk about today is understanding, well, what is a pricing strategy? How do I understand the competitive landscape? How do I understand pricing psychology as well? So how can I make sure that I am pricing my products and services in a way which makes it attractive to my ideal clients? So those are all the things that we're going to be talking about today. And when you think about pricing as well, one of the mistakes that I see a lot of business owners make is that they think about price and that's all they think about. It's not just about how much it is that you are charging for something, it's about the way that you are positioning that product or service. Because you could charge £1,000 for a bag of crisps, but you still have to position it in a way that people will value it enough to pay £1,000 for that bag of crisps. So you still have to position it in the right way to the right people. So it's not just about pricing, it's also about positioning and making sure you're clear on who it is that you are speaking to, and that you can demonstrate to them the value of what it is that you are selling and why it is they should be paying the amount that you are asking for them. So what I want to do is I just want to go through some different strategies that you can use to help you to identify how it is that you should be pricing your products or services. And these are specific terms and terminology that you can use to help you to identify what is the best pricing strategy for where I am in my business, for the products and services that I am selling in my business as well. Okay, so there are so many different ways that you can price your products and services, so many different strategies that you can use. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about 6 of the most common strategies that you can use to be able to decide what to charge for your products or services. So those 6 are penetration pricing, premium pricing, cost plus pricing, competition, psychological, and value-based. And I'm going to go through each one of those in detail so that you know which one is right for you and your business. So the first one that I want to talk to you about is penetration pricing. And basically with penetration pricing, what you do is that you charge a low amount for something that is completely new to the market. So the way that I do this in my business is that if I am creating a new workshop or something in my business, and I'm not quite sure how it's going to sell, how people are going to receive it, then I will charge more for it. Hi, Maggie, welcome. Can you hear me? I'm connecting to audio. Hi, Maggie, welcome.
Hi, good evening.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am very well, thank you very much. So I've just started the presentation, but actually what would be helpful for me to know at this stage is just to get an understanding for what type of business it is that you have, how long it is that you've been in business, and what it is that you're hoping to get from the session today.
Actually, I'm just wondering around some business startups because I'm connected to Angel to Exit company. So I'm just watching startup companies pitch. So I have ideas on how to, talk to people with businesses.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And when it comes to figuring out kind of what to charge for your services, how do you feel about, like, how comfortable do you feel about that? So like if you had to scale it on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel about knowing how to price the services that you're going to be offering?
Actually, we're helping startup business to pitch for our investors. So we have lots of clients already.
Yes.
That some exits with us. So, but yeah. I just in our company. Yeah. And Angel it. So that's why I want to see how this works, how the pitch, how the company sample pitches, and watching, to learn more about the US company, because I'm based in the Philippines.
Okay. Perfect. And that's good. And actually, you're right, because the thing as well, when you're thinking about pricing, is that what's considered to be expensive from country to country is going to be different. And it also depends on the services that you're providing. So it's good to kind of get a perspective from other people about, what's expensive to you, what's not expensive to you, because that's also something that's really important to consider as well. Okay, so perfect. So I just started to say that what I'm going to be covering today is 6 different strategies that you can use to figure out how to decide what to charge for your products and services. And one of the strategies that I literally just started talking about when you joined is called penetration. And what this does is that if you are new to the market, or if you are introducing something new to the market, then what you can do is that you can start off at a lower price to be able to gain that trust from people. And I do this in my business if I'm going to be releasing a workshop for the first time and it's completely brand new. What I will do is that I will charge it at a lower price. So if I'm ultimately going to charge £97 for this workshop, then as a test, I will launch it at £27. And the reason that I am doing that is so that I can get more people into the workshop. I can also get their feedback as well. And then I can use their feedback to help me to improve the workshop if that's what I need to do. And then I can justify selling it at a higher price because I've already proved that it's worked. Disney Plus did this when they first introduced Disney Plus. So they started out by charging £5.99 for the first year or the first couple of months. That was penetration pricing. So they charged £5.99, and that was like an introductory price to get people involved and people interested. So what happened then is that people who signed up for that after the 3-month trial period or however long it was, they either decided to renew at $7.99 or they decided to leave. But what Disney Plus did is they gave so much value. They introduced so many new programs and so many new films that by the time that 3-month introductory period had expired, people didn't want to leave. So that's how then Disney retained a lot of customers or gained a lot of customers, but then also still made a profit because they were selling at the higher rate. So hopefully that makes sense as well. Another thing that you can do when you're talking about penetration pricing is to do things like, similar to Disney Plus, where if you have a membership or a subscription-based business, is that you can offer a very low cost admission to membership. So if your membership is normally something like £27 a month, you could do a trial period where people can try it out for £1 for 14 days. The reason that you're doing that again is so that people can get to know about your membership. They can see the value that your membership has to offer. And if you're doing your job in the right way, they get to enjoy the content that you're creating. So they want to stay. So they want to stay and they want to pay the £27 a month then for your membership then as well.
Yeah.
So that's penetration pricing, where you will start off low to be able to kind of introduce it to the market. You could call it an early bird offer or an introductory offer, but that's one strategy that you can use. So if you know that your competitors are charging £500, you could charge £250. But the thing that you have to be careful about is that consumers and your ideal client, they are very savvy. They're going to be looking around. So they're going to know that your competitors are charging £500. So if they see that you're charging half of that price, they're going to want to know why that is. So what I would do, and what I always do whenever I'm introducing something new, is I explain why my price is set the way that it is. So I'll say something like, because this is a new product and because I haven't created it yet, I'm making it available at an introductory price, but this price is only going to be available for the next 14 days. If you are doing the same thing in your business, if you are offering something for half price, again, you could say, because this is new, because we've just started, because we've just come to this country, because we've just come to this market, just so you can try us out, it's available at 50% off at the moment. And that then explains to people why it is that you are cheaper than your competition, but it also prepares them for the fact that your prices are going to go up. So it's not going to be a surprise to them then when your prices then do eventually change.
Yeah, so it's like a promotion for them.
Yes, yeah. Exactly that. But then but it's good for you and your business because it's a promotion, but you're getting in lots of new people because for them it's a low barrier entry because they're not having to pay the full price to be able to try you out. They are being able to kind of test you out a little bit. And so another way that you can decide how to price your products or services is that you can position yourself as a premium brand. And so one of the things that you have to think about as a business owner is what type of position do I want to hold in the marketplace? Do I want to be the type of business who is somebody who is budget friendly? Do I want to be somebody who is kind of mid-range, or do I want to be premium? And so when I think about, so in the UK, we've got something called Poundland. Poundland, as the name implies, pretty much everything in the shop is a pound. So Poundland position in the marketplace is really clear. They are budget. If you're looking at hotels, Travelodge is a budget hotel. Their position in the marketplace is clear. They are a budget hotel. However, Hilton is not a budget hotel. The Ritz is not a budget hotel. Those are more premium hotels, and they've positioned themselves as that way, which means they can justify charging a higher price. So one of the things that you can decide to do in your business is decide that you are going to have you're going to charge a premium price for the products or services that you offer. And you can do this in one of two ways. So you can have it where it's somewhere like, if I think about like a designer, like maybe Louis Vuitton or Versace, they are premium clothing brands. So you know that you're going to be paying a lot of money for the fact that they are premium brands. But what you could also do in your business is that you could have a combination of prices. So you could have some prices which are at the lower budget range, and then other prices which are premium. And I'll give you an example of that in my business. So in my business, I've got workshops and I've got one-on-one coaching. The workshops, they are always going to be potentially £97 or lower. So that's what the cost of my workshops are going to be. My coaching, that's premium because you're getting my one-on-one time, and you're also getting lots of additional support as well. So my workshops, whilst they'll be under £97, I charge a premium for my coaching because that involves my time. So my services, when people are looking at my services, if they wanted to, for example, just try me out before they hired me for coaching, they could get a workshop. But then they know that the premium element of the service that I'm offering is my one-to-one coaching. So you could have different products which are at different ranges in the marketplace. So like I said, you could have your budget or you could have your premium as well. And the thing when you're thinking about premium is that if you're going to have premium prices, you need to be able to justify and explain to your market, to your ideal client, why it is that those are your premium prices. So for example, in the example that I gave with the hotels, so Travelodge is a budget hotel. It's a budget hotel because you literally just get the basics. You get a room and that's pretty much it. You don't get any, there's no whistles, there's nothing fancy about it. You are getting the basic. So you understand why you're paying a budget price. However, if you're going to be staying somewhere like at the Crowne Plaza, the Ritz, at the Hilton, that's more premium. So you have a higher expectation for the service that you're going to get, for the quality of the rooms that you're going to get. You're expecting the rooms to be really clean and presentable. You're expecting the staff to be really friendly and attentive because you're paying a premium for it. So that's kind of how it is that you have to differentiate it. If you're charging a premium price, you need to be able to explain to people what it is that they're getting for that premium price. And an example that I gave earlier when I was talking to another group is that I paid, so I signed up for a coaching program, which I'm no longer in, which was £10,350. That is a premium price. I had certain expectations of what I should be getting for a program where I am paying £10,350 for. I was expecting that I would always have somebody on hand that I could speak to and get one-to-one advice with in my business, that I would never need to buy a course again for the rest of the year because this program would include everything that I needed to be able to make my business even more of a success than it is now. So because it's premium, in my mind, I had certain expectations. And this organization didn't live up to those expectations. So if you are going to be charging a premium price in your business, you have to ask yourself the question, what are the expectations that my audience, that my ideal client would have if they were to pay this premium price? What are the things that they could expect to receive? And you then can make sure that you are delivering that so that you're meeting their expectations by charging that premium price. Because otherwise what's going to happen is that all people are going to do is they're going to see you as expensive, but they're not going to see the value in what it is that you are offering. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. And then also, like I say, it's about distinguishing yourself from the competition as well. So if you have a competitor that is exactly the same thing as you, and you decide to charge a premium price, so if they're charging £500, you decide to charge £1,000, again, you need to be able to distinguish yourself from the competition and explain what's different about the service that you are offering. So when I'm doing my prices now, I don't even look at my competition anymore. What I do is that I demonstrate to my clients the value that they are getting from working with me. The value that they're getting is that they always have me on hand to be able to contact if they need any guidance or support in their business, that they don't have to join a group call. They get personalized one-to-one access to me during my office hours. That then helps them to see what makes me different about my competition. Another strategy that you can use to be able to decide how to price your products or services is something that's called cost plus pricing. And basically what you're doing is that you're adding on a percentage or a pound amount, a dollar amount to the product or service that you are creating. So let's say that you want to sell some candles and it's going to cost you, so you could sell those candles for £10. You know that that's perhaps the market rate and that's what people are willing to pay for the £10. However, you want to make a profit. So you decide that what you're going to do is that you're going to double that and you're going to charge £20 for it. So it's cost plus an extra £10 to be able to make sure that you're getting a profit in your business as well. And this tends to happen when you are doing something like, so if you go to a bar or a restaurant, for example, and you order a bottle of wine, you could probably pay £30 for a bottle of wine in a bar or a restaurant. But that same bottle of wine, if you were to go to the supermarket, you would pay £10 for. And that's because the bar and the restaurant, they want to make sure they're making a profit on the wine that they're selling. So they add more money onto it so that they can make a profit. And this is known as two different things. It's either known as, it's called a markup. So like I say, the wine is £10 in the shop, but when you go to a bar or a restaurant, they charge you £30 for that. They've added a £20 markup on there. So that means then that they're getting a £20 profit from each bottle of wine that they sell. So in order to kind of figure this out, what you have to do is that you have to ask yourself, how much profit do I need to make, or do I want to make for each service or each product that I am selling? And then also, similar to what we discussed just now, how can I justify it? How can I still make sure that this is competitive as well? And so this is why for a lot of bars and restaurants, they kind of tend to charge the same amount for wine and for alcohol that you buy by the bottle. The only exception to that is if it's, for example, a particular brand of wine that is known to be more expensive. So if you're buying champagne in a bar, if you're buying Moet, it's going to be a lot cheaper than if you're buying Dom Perignon. So there's a difference between the types of champagne that you're buying. So they can justify charging more. They can justify having more of a markup on there. But whenever it is that you are applying a markup, you still have to make sure that you are being competitive. So like, for example, I couldn't just say to myself, or I would need to justify, if I was saying that my coaching is £1,000, but I want to make £3,000, so I'm going to charge £3,000 for my coaching. It needs to be a lot more thought than that. You still need to be able to demonstrate the value that somebody is getting for £3,000. You need to be able to, again, distinguish yourself from the competition to explain why yours is £3,000 and why it is that they should pay that £3,000 instead of going somewhere else and paying that £1,000. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions so far?
No, none. It's okay.
Perfect. Another way that you can decide what type of pricing to charge is by looking at your competition. And so what you can do is that you can look at your competition and you can just charge exactly what it is that your competition charges. This is useful because, like I say, your ideal client, when they are deciding who to buy from, they're probably going to be comparing you against somebody else in your industry as well. So if you're charging the same as your competitors, then there's no real difference between them. And then what you have to do is you still have to be able to stand out from your competition by having a unique selling point, by having something that is unique, that makes you different from your competition. Because if the only thing that people are assessing you on is price, there still has to be something that makes you stand out and apart from your competition. And you see this a lot of times in the UK anyway, with the supermarkets. So, we've got the big supermarkets over here, Asda, Aldi, Tesco and Sainsbury's. And constantly when you see the adverts on the TV, they are always price matching against each other. So Tesco are saying, we're cheaper than Aldi you can buy your cucumbers at Tesco much cheaper than you can buy it at Aldi. Or you can buy it for the same price that you would buy it at Aldi. So they're constantly keeping an eye on how much their competitors are charging for their products and their services, and they are matching their prices so that it is the same as their competitors. But like I say, if you are going to do this, then you still have to be able to find a way to distinguish yourself from the competition. And so I had a client who came to me, it was a couple of months ago, and I was on this platform where there were lots of different other business coaches who were advertising their services. So this client saw my details and she was comparing me against another coach who she was also talking to at the same time as well. And she said that when she was comparing the two of us, there was something about me that stood out, that I seemed friendly, that I seemed like I would be supportive. And so because she liked the way that I approached the delivery of my coaching sessions, which I described in my bio, she chose me over the competition. And that's what you have to do as a business owner. If you are basing your competition, if you're basing your pricing on your competition, you have to be able to stand out and apart from them, because otherwise your customers are going to be so confused and they're going to be like, well, I can't see the difference in going with you or this other company. So if I can't tell the difference, then it doesn't matter which one I go with. So you still have to be able to show them why it is they should choose you over everybody else. And that's where having your unique selling point comes into effect. And your unique selling point could be in the way that you deliver the services. It could be in how personalized your services are. It could be in the amount of support that you give to somebody once they buy your services. It could be in the framework that you use to be able to get people the specific results that they need. So think about if you're going to look at competitive pricing based on what your competition is charging, think about what is it that I can do to be able to stand out? What is it that I can do to make me unique as well from the competition? The other strategy that you can use is something called psychological pricing. Now, psychological pricing is when it looks cheaper to your customers. So, for example, you could say that it's, instead of charging £10 for something, you charge £9.99. Because £9.99, even though it's like a penny difference, it seems so much cheaper than £10.
Yeah.
And it works all of the time. Like, there are times when I go to a shop and if I see something for £10, I'm like, but if it's £9.99, I'm like, okay, that's a bargain. And it makes no sense. But as consumers, that's how we react when we see pricing that way. So things like having odd value pricing, it makes a difference and it makes it more attractive to the consumer. There's also another strategy where apparently the number 7 is very psychologically pleasing to buyers. So that's why you will see, particularly service providers like coaches and consultants, they will charge things like £97, £77, £497, £997, because there's something about the combination of the 9 and the 7 that's attractive to people. And then again, it makes it seem like it's cheaper for people as well.
Nice. So I didn't know that.
Yeah, honestly, now that you know that, when you start looking, you won't be able to stop seeing it. You won't be able to stop seeing these odd numbers, and you'll be like, why are people doing that? And it's because it seems cheaper to people.
Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, and I don't know why it is. And another great strategy that you can use for psychological pricing is, and it doesn't apply to your business, but if, for example, you were to sell products and there was a delivery cost attached to that, what is the better way to do it is to incorporate the cost of delivery into the cost of your product. So, for example, if you are charging, let's say we're selling candles again, say if you're selling candles for £10 and it costs £15 to be able to ship those candles, rather than advertising it as £10 for the candle and £5 for delivery, you would advertise it as £15 for the candle and free delivery. Psychologically, people are like, that's a bargain because the delivery is free. But it's not that it's free, it's just that it's incorporated in the price of the candle. But the consumer, they think that that's free because they're getting a bargain because they see it's free shipping.
Yeah. So it's more appealing.
Exactly. And that's exactly what you have to do as a business owner. You have to come up with pricing strategies that are appealing to them, and doing things like having odd numbers that is appealing to people because it makes it seem that it's cheaper. By having something like free shipping, it makes it seem like it's cheaper. By having something like if you spend £50, then it's free delivery. I have done that before, where in my shopping basket, maybe I've had like £20 worth of stuff in my shopping basket, and I've had a note to say you're £30 away from getting free delivery. And I don't know why, but free delivery seems like I'm getting a bargain. Even if it means I'm spending £30 extra, I feel like I'm getting a bargain. So I'll spend £50 just so I can get the free shipping.
Yeah.
But have you done that as well? Has that happened with you?
Yes, always. Especially when buying clothes online.
Exactly. It's that psychological thing again, because we all want to get a bargain. We all want to make sure that we're getting value. So we're just like, oh, the way that I justify it in my mind, depending on where it is that I'm shopping, because obviously some places are cheaper than the other. I would be like, well, the £5 that I'm paying on this delivery, I could order this nail varnish, and that nail varnish is £5. So again, we justify things in different ways in our minds. So whenever we're looking at a price, all of these things are going around in our head. So am I getting a bargain? Am I getting a good deal? If it's odd numbered, then you feel like you're getting a deal because it's £9.99 instead of £10, or it's £77 instead of £80. So you automatically feel like you're getting a good deal. If the shipping is included, then you feel like you're getting free shipping. So you feel like you're getting a bargain as well. The other thing that's great for psychological pricing as well is to kind of bundle things together. And so the way that you would do that is that so in the UK, we've got Boots, so which is it's like a retail place. So 3 for 2. So, you know, you get 3, you pay for 2 things and you get the third thing free. You may not even need all of those things, but because you're going to get something free, you want to get it. You don't want to miss out on the offer. I ordered some food from Asda the other day to be delivered to me. And as part of so when I was checking out all of the items and adding them to my basket, they kept telling me that I was missing out on a deal. So I bought some lemonade, and they said that if I bought 2 bottles, then it'd be something like £2.50. But if I bought 1 bottle, it would be £1.50. So I'd be getting a bargain if I bought 2 bottles. So I was like, I don't want to miss out on this deal. So I'm going to buy the 2 bottles so I can save money.
Yeah, well, that's your thinking. I just thought you're saving.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you've got a business where it's like that, so, you know, so one of the things that I do in my business is that I'll say, you know, if you buy this one package, it costs you £30. But if you buy these other 2 things as well, then it's going to cost you £45 or £50. And then people feel like they're getting a bargain. So you can do your services in that way, and then psychologically people feel like that they're getting something for nothing effectively. So with your services, like if you're doing it on an hourly basis, you could say something like, well, if you buy 10 hours and you get an extra 5 hours for free. They may have only needed 5 hours, but because you've told them that they can get an extra 5 hours for free, they're now going to pay that extra money, because psychologically I'm getting a bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, and it's so fascinating when you start to kind of delve into it. You're like, oh my gosh, they're trying to trick me, and they actually did trick me, and I fell for it, but I don't care. And so the final strategy that I want to talk about is something which is called value-based pricing. And value-based pricing is basically where you charge what you believe your customer or your ideal client is likely or willing to pay for what it is that you are selling. And so the example of this that I will give is that, say, for example, you are a weight loss coach. And so you're a weight loss coach, and what you do is that you help your clients to lose weight so you help clients to lose weight. The value of that to your client is that once they've lost weight, say that it's a woman, once they've lost weight, they will be able to fit into that black dress that they want to wear to the wedding that they're going to in 6 months' time. The value of that to somebody who was going to be able to, for the first time in maybe years, fit into a dress that they haven't worn in maybe years, go to a wedding and look amazing, the value of that is amazing. If you use that same scenario and you say it's a weight loss coach again, and the value that you're going to get is that you'll feel so confident about yourself now that you'll want to go out. And by going out, you're going to be able to meet the love of your life. And when you meet the love of your life, you'll be able to settle down, you'll be able to get married and have children. When you look at it in that way, when you look at the value of that, that's more valuable than just losing weight. The value is that losing weight is going to give me confidence, which means I'm going to be able to go out and meet the love of my life. So you can then justify charging whatever price it is that you want to, because that's the value that the client now is going to attach to the service that you're providing to them. It's not about weight loss anymore. It's about what they're going to get, the value that they're going to get once they have lost weight. And so one of the ways that you can get a gauge for how your ideal client values the product or service that you are selling is just to do some market research. So I've done this a lot in my business, where what I will do is that I will organize some calls with people. I will talk them through a new program that I've created. I will share with them all of the things that I'm going to be included in the program, all of the support that's going to be offered to them. And I will also share what will be different for them once they go through the program. Then I just ask the question, based off of everything that I've said, how much would you be willing to pay for a program like this? And then they give me their opinion. Now, the problem with this is that if you are speaking to people who aren't used to attaching a value on products or services, there is a danger that they could either price it too low or too high. So what I always like to do is I like to speak to a range of different people who have potentially purchased other programs similar to mine in the past. And then if I'm speaking to like 10 people and I'm asking all 10 people the same question, and they're telling me, oh, based off of everything that you've said, it sounds like this program is going to be worth about £3,000. That gives me a really great idea of the value that my ideal client is going to place on that program. And the other way that you do it as well. So if you're a service-based business, for example, you've probably seen this as well, Maggie. So I don't know if you've been to like a lot of webinars, but typically at the end of a webinar, if it's a coach or if it's a mentor or a consultant or whoever it is, they will make an offer to you at the end of the webinar. So they will say, you know, I want you to join my coaching program. My coaching program is £500. And they will say something like, while that's the amount that I am charging you, the value of this coaching program is actually £2,000. So if we were to, and they will say something like, if we were to add up everything individually, the total value of everything that you get in this program is £2,000. But I'm going to give it to you for £500. And the way that they do that is that for each element of the service that they are providing, they put a value on there. So in my example, if I was promoting a program, and within that program there was going to be coaching and there was going to be 8 modules, I would break down how much each module was. And I would also break down how much my coaching would be, so that they can see as a whole the value of the program that I am offering. And then again, when I then say to them, although this is the value and I know that people are willing to pay this, I'm going to give it to you for slightly less. So I am doing it based off of the value that I know, even though this is how much the whole thing is worth, I know that my ideal clients, they're not going to pay that, but this is what they're going to pay instead. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so again, the best thing for you to do to be able to understand the value of the perceived value that your ideal client has is to ask them the question, based off of everything that you're going to get, how much do you think this is worth? And it's also for you to think about the transformation that somebody is going to get as well, based on using your products or services. So you and I, we help startups. So the value of being able to help a startup to leave the job that they hate, to work for themselves, have financial freedom, be able to make as much money as they want to, have time to spend with their family endlessly, and learn how to be able to generate money consistently in their business, the value of that is enormous. Which is why coaches and consultants can justify charging higher prices, because they're clear on the value that their ideal client is going to get once they've used their services. And so that's one of the key things, is being able to understand what is the value and what is my ideal client willing to pay for that value. So I'm going to summarize what it is that I've talked about so far. So I talked about penetration pricing, which is when you start low and then you kind of increase your costs. Premium charging, where you charge more and you position yourself potentially as something that's luxurious or more luxury. Cost plus, which is where you add a markup to help you to increase your profits. Competition, where you are basing your prices on what it is that your competition is charging. Psychological, where you do things like odd numbering, where you do 3 for 2, or where you include the cost of the shipping in the cost of the product that you are selling. And then value-based pricing, which is based around the value or the perceived value that your ideal client is going to place on your product or service. So, having heard all of these things, which do you think is something that your business is doing at the moment, or something that you think you're going to try? Which strategy do you think it is that you'll try next?
Psychological.
You know what? I knew that you were going to say that, because I knew that you love that one.
It's crazy. I just found out that, using odd numbers can really, it's the strategy on how you use that, and with maybe combine it with competition and premium services. Yeah, so exactly. It's more enticing to start up business or investors exactly. or clients.
Yeah. And you made a really great point, Maggie, that you can use a combination of these different strategies. Like, you don't just have to use one, you can just use a combination of all of these different strategies, because they all work. And as I'm going to come on to now, the thing that's important is that you need to know who your ideal client is. You need to know who your market is to know which one is going to work best for them as well.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking about which pricing strategy to use in your business, there are some key things that you need to take into consideration. So the first thing is that who is your ideal client? So, and when you're thinking about your ideal client, you need to think about what is it that they can be, what is it that they can afford, and what do you want to be known for? So you work with startups. So startups are likely to have another source of income, which is probably going to be from a full-time job. So when you're thinking about the services that you are charging to a startup, one of the questions that you have to ask yourself is, well, what is it that they could afford to pay? And another way to look at this is that, for example, if your ideal client is a teacher, and you are selling a service that's £5,000, you need to ask yourself, is my ideal client going to be in a financial position to be able to pay for my services? Or if they are a single mother on benefits and my services are £5,000, would they be able to pay that £5,000? So when you're pricing, you also have to think about, who is the audience that I am targeting with this? And is this audience going to be able to afford the prices that I am charging for my products and my services? You also have to establish, and you also have to be clear on what it is that you want to be known for as a business owner. You know, what do you want to be known for? So, for example, do you want to be somebody who is premium? Do you want to be somebody who is budget friendly as well? So again, things that you want to be able to think about. And then you also have to think about the cost of sales as well. And I'm going to go into that. You also have to think about your overheads. So how much money it is that you are going to be spending in your business, and then how much it is that you want to earn in your business then as well. And I'm going to talk about these things in a little bit more detail. So like I say, you need to think about, who is your ideal client? Who are they? And would they be willing to pay what it is that you are charging for your product or your service? And again, only you will know this if you do some research and you start to ask the questions. And so you would need to find out, by doing some market research, first of all, what is the average salary of my ideal client, or what is the average amount of disposable income that my ideal client has that they would be able to afford to spend on my products or my services. And then also you have to think to yourself, well, which pricing strategy would be the most attractive to them? So if your clients are people who work in the finance industry, and they are, they're working in the finance industry, they're working in the banking industry, they have lots of disposable income, maybe the most attractive pricing strategy to them is going to be the premium pricing strategy. Because the premium pricing strategy aligns with where they are in their life. They expect to pay a premium price for the things that they like. So because of that, they are expecting you as a business owner to charge a premium price for the services that you offer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so again, remember that you can have lots of different pricing strategies in your business as well. So you could have pricing strategies to be able to meet the needs of your ideal client. So for example, one of the examples that I always like to give is that I deliver training. Also, one of the things that I want to start doing is delivering training to corporates. The amount of money that I'm going to be charging the corporates is going to be a lot more than I will be charging individuals to work one-on-one with me. That is because the corporates have a bigger budget, so they can afford to spend more money with me. And then I can also justify charging a lower price to the individuals who work with me one-on-one, because I'm able to make up the bulk of my income from the corporates that I'm working with. So you may have more than one ideal client, which means it makes sense to have different pricing strategies. So you were saying that you help startups. So there may be at a point in the life of your business where you decide that, yes, you're going to help startups, but then also once these startups are up and running, you want to help them to scale. And so if that's the case, then you would have two different pricing structures. So for startups, maybe you would have a price which is like £1,000, but for people who want to scale, because they're already making money in their business and they've got more disposable income, you may charge them £5,000. Mm-hmm. So again, it's just about being clear on who your ideal client is, what's going to be the most attractive strategy for them, what is it that they can afford. But I want to put a caveat on what it is that they can afford, because as a business owner, it is your responsibility to demonstrate to your ideal client the value of what it is that you are providing. And I'll give you an example of this. So about a year ago, somebody put a post up on LinkedIn saying that they wanted to interview people on LinkedIn Live, and then they wanted to interview business owners on LinkedIn Live, and the video would also be uploaded to YouTube as well. And they said it's going to be really great exposure for you as a business. So if you're interested in being interviewed, then just drop me a message and we'll set up a conversation. So I was like, this seems cool. It's a great way to get some more visibility in my business. Let me reach out to them and say, yeah, let's have a conversation. So I reached out to them. And when I got on the call with them, it was clear that it was a sales pitch. What they wanted was for me to pay them to interview me. And they were only charging £50. But it didn't matter if they were charging £1 or £50. I did not see the value in what it is that they were trying to sell me, because I could get interviewed on somebody else's YouTube channel for free. I could get interviewed on somebody's LinkedIn Live or their live for free. I didn't understand or see the value in why it is that I should pay for it. However, if they positioned it in the way that said something like, we've got 10,000 connections on LinkedIn. Every time we do a live, we get at least 1,000 people watching live and then 3,000 people watching the replay. And on our YouTube channel, we get at least 20,000 views a month. If they positioned it in that way, then I would be able to see the value in spending £50, because I would be able to see the visibility that I could get, the potential clients that I could get. Yeah. So a lot of the times it is about asking yourself, yes, what can my ideal client afford? But it's also asking yourself, how can I, as a business owner, position this offer in a way that so demonstrates clearly why they need this service of mine, why they need this product, how it's going to change their life. Because when people can see that something is going to change their life and it's going to be really beneficial to them, they will find a way to get the money. Yeah. They will get a loan, they will ask friends. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry for cutting up. I said it's shady when they said you could just, for free, and then suddenly they are charging you for, even though it's small, it doesn't matter. It's shady.
Yeah. And this is the thing. And this is why when I was on the phone, I was like, I don't understand the value of what you're offering, because everybody else is doing it for free. So why should I pay you to do what other people are doing for free? And this is the thing. And this is what happens with a lot of business owners. When people are looking at their prices, that's the kind of conversation that they're having with themselves in their mind. They're saying to themselves, why should I pay this much money for what it is that you're offering? And that's why, as a business owner, it's not just about putting the price. It's about explaining and justifying that price, explaining the benefits that people are going to be getting for the price that they're paying. So it's about saying to them, for example, if I say to somebody, you know, you'll get 3 one-to-one coaching sessions, that doesn't really demonstrate the value that my clients will get from those 3 one-to-one coaching sessions. But if I explained it in a little bit more detail and I said, well, during those 3 one-to-one sessions, we're going to take a really deep dive into your business. So I'm going to be able to understand every element of your business, every element of your personality, so I can recommend the best marketing strategy for your type of business and the exact skills and strengths that you have in your business. So whatever strategy that I give to you is going to be completely custom made. That sounds more valuable and appealing than just saying you're going to get 3 one-to-one coaching sessions. And you see the difference that, like, all I'm doing is explaining the value of those 3 one-to-one coaching sessions. Because when somebody is looking at it, you can't just assume that they will understand the value in what it is that you are offering. You have to demonstrate that. And the way that you can demonstrate that is by explaining the benefits to somebody. So if you are selling to somebody via your website, for example, then on your website, you would do exactly what I've just described, is that you would highlight the benefits to somebody of buying your product or your service. If you were having a sales conversation with somebody, before you talk to them about your price, you would be telling them the benefits and the value that they will be getting from your product or your service. So by the time it comes to talking about the price doesn't become the deciding factor. They then start to have a different conversation in their minds, and it's more about, actually, do I want this benefit or this value that they say I'm going to get as a result of using their products or services? So that's your ideal client. The other thing that you need to take into consideration when you are pricing your products and services is you need to ask yourself, how much does it cost me to get a sale? I'm just going to cough, bear with me. I wanted to mute myself so I didn't deafen anybody. So whenever you're deciding how much to or what to charge for your products or services, you always have to ask yourself, well, how much does it cost me to get to a sale? And so you need to know what your cost of sale is. And so if you are a product-based business and you sell candles, for example, then you have to be able to work out how much money does it cost me to buy the wax, to be able to buy the wicks, to be able to buy the jars, and to be able to buy the labels as well. Because let's say, for example, you decide to sell your candles for £10, but for every candle that you sell for £10, it costs you £5 to make that candle. That means that you're only making a profit of £5. So when you are working out what to charge for your products or services, you also have to think about, how much does it cost me to get to a sale? How much money am I spending to get to a sale? If you're a service-based business, then the cost that you're going to be incurring may be things like your website designer, your email provider. I was saying earlier that I use Canva Pro, so I've got a subscription. Maybe it's Zoom as well if you're having group sessions. So you need to understand all of the costs that you are needing to incur to be able to get to a sale. And so the way that I would work it out then is that I would divide the total amount that I would be spending in my business each year. I would divide that by 12 to be able to know on a monthly basis, how much money do I need to make on a monthly basis to meet my ongoing costs? And how can I make sure that I am pricing my products and services in a way that not only do I meet my financial obligations, so not only am I making sure that I am earning back the money that I'm spending to make this product or service, but I'm also making a profit as well. Because a lot of new business owners, they forget when they are pricing that it's about you making a profit as well. Even if you have a full-time job somewhere else, you want your business to be able to make a profit. And in order to make a profit in your business, you need to understand how much money it costs you to get to a sale in your business. And so I've just given an example here. So like I say, you know, one of the things that you might need to buy is wax. You may decide to buy the wax in bulk because it is cheaper. However, you also have to consider the sell-by date of the wax that you're purchasing as well. Because if you could spend like £100 on a big, massive ball of wax, but that wax may only last you a month. And if that's the case, if you're not able to sell a month's worth of, if you're not able to sell all of the candles in a month, then you've just lost out on a load of stock. So all of these things that you have to take into consideration when you're pricing. You have to think about your stock, the cost of your stock. You have to think about how much money it is that you want to make. You have to think about what's your standard cost, what's your mortgage, what's your rent, what are your bills, because you want to make sure that you are making a profit on whatever it is that you are selling in your business. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Excellent. And then the other thing that I was saying is that, you have to think about your standard overheads in your business as well. So your standard overheads are things like electricity, insurance, stationery, anything that, so broadband, for example, those are the normal, regular monthly costs that you will be incurring in your business on a monthly basis. So again, when you're thinking about what to charge for your products or your services, you have to take into account your overheads as well, so that you can make sure that you are absolutely making a profit in your business. And the other reason that it's And the other reason that it's really helpful to be able to know how much money it is that you need to make in your business on a monthly basis is that it helps you to set goals. And then also that helps you with your pricing. So let's say, for example, that you have worked out that you need to make £2,000 a month in your business to be able to meet all of your expenses, all of your costs, and to be able to survive as a business owner. So you need to make £2,000 and you sell a product that is £100. So that means you need to sell 20 products a month at £100 to be able to hit your goal. Well, what you could do is you could say, well, if I doubled my prices and I charge £200, that means I'd only need to make 10 sales a month. So by being clear on what your target is, it also helps you to identify how much to charge for your products or your services. And also you can take into account how hard you want to work as well, how often it is that you want to work. Because if you only want to work 2 days a week, for example, then, it may be doable within 2 days a week to be able to get all of the clients that you need to get. Does that make sense, Maggie? Do you have any questions on that?
None. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
So it is also about, because people, in my experience, people don't think about their goals when they're setting their prices. They think more about things like their competition, which, yes, that's important, but equally important is you thinking about your own goals, what it is that you need to earn, how much money it is that you need to make, and how many hours it is that you want to work in your business. Because for you, obviously you're going to be providing potentially a one-on-one service with the work that you do as well. But that doesn't mean that you want to be spending like 50 hours a month doing one-to-one clients. So again,
all day.
Yeah,
all day,
exactly.
Every day.
Exactly. So you then have to think about, okay, then what's realistic for me? So what is realistic for me to, how many services or how many sessions can I deliver in a month? What's realistic for me? How many products can I create and sell in a month as well? So that's the other thing that you have to take into consideration when you're pricing, is that you have to take into consideration what's realistic for you to deliver as well.
Yeah.
So all of these things kind of get taken into consideration. And then this is just an overview of what to take into consideration when you are deciding on your pricing strategy. So you're looking at your personal survival budget, you're looking at the number of products or services that you can create, the number of hours that you want to work in a week, and also what it is that you can deliver. So in this example, I've said that maybe you want to earn £2,000 a month. You design websites. You can design five websites a month. So you could charge £400 a month, or you could charge £800 for each website that you design. And immediately then you're doubling your profits. So it literally is a numbers game when it comes time to thinking about how to price your products or services. And again, if you're deciding to charge £800 instead of £400 for your website, you just need to make sure that you can justify that. Just need to make sure that you are demonstrating the value that you are going to be giving to people for that additional service that you are providing to them.